Hello, today with us is Devi Mohan. She is a global ambassador of Mohanji Foundation, and she is the president of a charity called Act Foundation, and she has many roles that she is very successful playing and fulfilling all of them. And one of the roles is also wife and disciple of one of the biggest masters and spiritual leaders in 21st century in the world, Mohanji. Hello, welcome.
Thank you, Anna. Beautiful intro.
Yeah, so I know you personally for last 4 years, and we spent some time together in Serbia, in the Balkans region, and all over the world. And what really impresses me, how much you do for humanity, how much you do for other people, and how easy looks what you're doing. It looks like you're having fun, you're playing, but you're changing people's lives in such a big way.
Thank you. I would say it came as a fulfillment of a dream, of a deep promise that I made to myself in the darkest hours. When I was 14, I was a refugee, and at that time when I had to clothe myself at the Red Cross, taking the size 3 times bigger than my usual size, or being humiliated at school as a kid in primary school. Those were the times when I promised myself, if I ever come out of this, if I come out of this mud, and if I ever have any even smallest amount of money, I will help those who are in need. So that was like my promise, and also it was a wish. So when it really happened, it was just like a calling, something that came natural. I always wanted to help people from various backgrounds, never to discriminate between people of different faiths or races or castes or whatever division humanity carries. So that's exactly what we are doing now through our charity, Act Foundation, and worldwide through Mohanji Foundation, spreading the teachings of experiential spirituality, being completely connected with your authentic self, your true self, and just opening the heart.
As you know, Divac Foundation, our foundation, we started working in Balkan region, helping refugees. And for me, what was unbelievable that most of them lived in the past. They were stuck in the past, and yes. Usually they weren't stuck in a bad past. They were stuck when they were successful. So that memory kept them refugee for a longer than someone who realized, okay, we lost everything, now I have to start my life all over again. So tell me, how did you overcome all of that? What was your thinking process? Can you just tell me a little bit when that day happened, when you became a refugee? How did you feel?
It's natural to resist the pain, right? When you suddenly go from certain status, when you have normal life, and then you suddenly lose that. That's much different than to being born as a beggar on the street or a very poor person and kind of adjusting to that gradually. So when you suddenly fall from here to there, what is your defense mechanism? There's like a part of you that resists, and that resistance is rooted in anger. There's anger and resistance. You don't want to be that, and then victimhood happens. So you kind of get stuck. So accepting the reality at that point in time is very difficult. I remember when I was 14, we were in a small town, Batajnica, near Belgrade, and there was during a break between 2 classes, there was one boy who came to me and he said some ugly words, and out of that resistance and anger, I said, you know what? I had a house 3 times bigger than you, because we had like almost 3-floor house in the city where we lived in Croatia. So you are acting as if you're, God knows what, but I saw your house. My house was 3 times bigger than yours. And then he was like, yeah, all you stinky refugees, you came from some stinky village. All of you say the same thing. So he it directly insulted me that, that's totally not true, you're just imagining it. And then that hurts even more because you can't really prove, and how does it even matter? It doesn't matter, but in that moment you would want to show something, you want to prove yourself, and it's not happening. And there's that helplessness, emptiness and helplessness. So in that moment I could not accept that this is my reality now. I am at the rank of all these refugees.
So and that was happening in Serbia when you came?
Yeah, that was in 1991. Yeah, 1991. And then over time, I learned to touch other hearts through my experience sharing. And that was the moment when I came out of that victimhood through creativity.
When?
So
when
that
in
same,
that period?
That same period, maybe 2-3 months later. What happened is that in the Serbian language and literature class, there was a moment where a professor gave us a topic, children at war. Mm-hmm. And I just went to the house where we were accommodated, and I started writing, and I just wrote my heart out. I just wrote everything I felt. And then when she read it, she felt it was just so touching and so deep that she read it to her friends at home and her relatives. Then in school, she went to the school principal and she told them, you have to read this. And then the principal said, wow, this is something all our children should know. Call this child to my office and she should read it out on the microphone in front of other children. So they would actually stop all the classes. And I never expected this would happen. So when my teacher told me that the principal is calling me to his office to read this out loud, I said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's just so intimate, and I think I'll probably cry, and I can't just fall apart like that. And she insisted, so at least talk to him. So I'll never forget, I don't remember his name. He's one of the most amazing men who really inspired me. He really gave that fatherly support at the time when I didn't know whether my father will come back alive, and I was really in a chaos. He
was the principal of your school.
Yes, and so he held my hand. He said, I will hold your hand. You have to inspire other children. This is your chance to share with them what you feel. They don't know your reality. So I somehow, picked up the mic, and one hand was in his hand, one hand was with the mic, and I was reading out my essay. And I did cry a bit, and all the classes were paused, the sessions in all the classes were paused, all the kids heard my story. And that was already towards the end of these 3 months of suffering and humiliation. And when I read it out, when I came out among the children after that, there was a huge change. I became like the star in the school. They all came forward and spoke to me. The same kids who used to call me ugly names, like the stinky refugee.
What is the name of the school? So you can say publicly thank you to the person who changed your life, actually.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact name, but it's probably the only primary school in Batajnica.
In Batajnica. Yeah. So that's a great example how regular person, we call him, we're all regular, of course, when you're doing something really good from your heart, how you can have such a huge impact on so many people. So he had impact on you, and then you empowered and had impact on so many people all over the world. Yeah. So what I'm saying, none of us are playing a small role.
Yes.
In lives of each other. So his role was definitely huge.
Huge. In that moment, he gave me the strength, the support I needed to come out of the bubble, that victimhood bubble. So as long as you're in the victimhood bubble, there's part of you is in aggressive mode and part of you is in self-pity mode. And it's like a continuous merry-go-round, and you just can't come out of that. So creativity and opening of the heart, I would say, that is the answer to come out of that. I opened my heart, I expressed myself through writing, I expressed what I felt, so creativity happened. And that pulled me out of the victimhood. And then he supported me to express that. And when I saw the change in their behavior, I realized just how powerful we can be when we just open our hearts, that we can really transform each other. There's a huge change.
And you're such a good writer, because I read your blogs. You really have talent in that. So you found the right channel. So opening our hearts as I understand, means like that we can really be honest with ourselves and with others and sharing something that is actually very painful for us.
Yes.
So that we give people chance to meet, we call it like our weak points.
Yes.
So I remember when you were in Sacramento, like a couple of months ago, you met Peja Stojakovic.
Yes.
And it was a funny story because he thought like you were playing a game with him, you and Vlade, that you came from the same place. At the same time, you were a refugee from Croatia, same age, and you have both of you daughter. They are the same name,
Mila. Yes.
So, like through him, through him, I know how painful and that experience was, and how shocking was for refugees from Croatia and Bosnia when they came to Serbia. That wasn't all the people like embracing them with open arms.
Yeah.
So you had to go through that pain, losing country, losing everything, plus like this pain, like adjusting and fitting in a society.
Yeah.
So now you're telling actually that experience helped you on your spiritual road, right?
Yes, there was a moment where I really decided that I am not a victim. I'm not going to be this victim, and I asked myself, what is it that I can do as a child? I can't work and earn money at this point in time. I can't change the situation I'm surrounded with, but I can study. I realized I can study, and all my inspiration came to study hard. And I promised myself that I would get really good education. So if it happens again that I lose my home or that I lose all my material possessions, I can always find a job, and I can always support people near me, because education is really important. It opens doors and windows to the world, and especially international education. So I'm definitely, I would inspire and support many children to go as study abroad students, or to go and try and live in different locations away from the comfort zone of mother and father, because this is where as a student you really grow up. You cook for yourself, you take care of yourself, you learn the discipline, and you also challenge yourself, and in that process you get to know yourself much more than the children who are just sheltered and don't dare to step out. But then again, there's financial aspect. I was really fortunate that this war story also gave me a unique story when you apply for scholarships. So I was like a bit of a step ahead, that I had good grades and all that, but I had a story that helped me to win really great scholarships. So without any connections, I just applied online on internet, and I won 2 amazing scholarships that ensured my education in Italy and in America.
So what did you finish?
So first in Italy it was international affairs, it's like diplomacy, and then in master's degree at Notre Dame in America was about peace studies, which is like the more advanced version of conflict resolution, because it's all about maintaining peace. It's not just conflict resolution, it's about how to have peace. So it was one of my passions, was to help support actual lasting peace in the Balkan region, which is like a huge.
It's beautiful. So you finished the right university, definitely, and you're doing like a knowledge that you gain. I'm sure you're just doing in a different way. So you do yoga, you do like different type of healings, and in your presence, people not only from Balkan, from all over the world, they feel safe. They feel accepted, they feel so much love and no judgment. So you give so much love. So can you tell us what Devi actually means?
Yeah, I changed when I married Mohanji, I changed my last name to Mohan. Then in 2015, there was this moment where I realized the importance of vibrating at a certain frequency and maintaining that frequency. It's very, very important on our spiritual path. So I've always known that the spiritual mother we call Bogorodica, like the mother, you could say Mother Mary, but in India it's more of the Divine Mother, and she can have different kind of aspects and qualities, but it's definitely Divine Mother is my connection with the Supreme Divine. So in India they support this idea of taking certain name of a certain vibration that supports the highest version of you. So I felt that Mother Mary is the highest version of me. If I would want to imagine myself as the highest, it would be her love, her compassion, her patience, you know, her courage. So that's where, in that moment where I could change the name, I decided to let it be Devi Mohan. So my parents were a bit surprised. They said, "Now nobody knows where you come from," you know. But I would like to say it's not me denying my past or trying to run away from you know, the Balkan region or my history. It's simply me choosing to live the highest version of me and going in that direction. And for me, Devi Mohan is representing that, you know. So we do have a right to reinvent ourselves. You know, during our life, we have a right to turn another page and, you know, with new clarity and new determination, go towards that goal.
That's bring freedom in our life. Like if I did something wrong, I don't need to pay price for the rest of my life. I can say, okay, I made a mistake. Today is a new day. Let's change that. Let's see where I made mistake. What is the lecture, so I can change. I can change myself. So that's like a really great. What I wanted to tell you, first time when I came and I met Mohanji, I really didn't understand anything. You know, I didn't understand like a vibration. I didn't understand. But one thing that I understood was you. And I was really, especially when I came from India, was everything too much for me because they are much more advanced, obviously, than I am. But connection with you that we have here in the Balkans, it's you're like a bridge between East and West. You know, like between their version of spirituality, our version of spirituality, their version of culture, and our version of culture. Yeah. So you bring it to us in such a nice way so that we connect. So because we are saying vibration, can you tell people what exactly that means? Like, okay, I want to vibrate positively on a higher frequency, but what does it mean like in a real life, on a daily basis? Yeah. How do we do that, and what is the benefit of that?
What you radiate is your vibration, and the frequency with which you radiate, if it's the frequency of that which expands you, which makes your heart open, that is higher frequency, right? So it's not about religion you follow or concepts you have in your mind. It's got to do with the heart and with the love you radiate. So you can't fake love, you know. We can fake many things, and very often we try to fake that we are calm when we are nervous, or we try to fake that we are kind when we actually want to
kill someone,
squash somebody. But with love, it doesn't work. You cannot fake love, you know. So if you're radiating that out of you, that means you are in that higher frequency. And when we meet people who have mastered the mind, we realize that they spontaneously, without any intention, keep radiating that because they have gone beyond the mind's oscillation. Oscillation of the mind is that what takes us into all this judgment, criticism, not accepting others, hating others, being jealous, being possessive, all these negative states. But once we master the mind, then we are just in love. We are kind of empty flute, through which then the only higher frequency energies come, and for the benefit of others. So that's somewhere the highest potential of all of us. I would say that when I decided to live my highest version, and do my spiritual practices and do more social service and continuously direct myself towards that higher frequency, at some point I saw the change. When I became authentic, when I became myself, who I really am, I was not bothered whether some in India think I'm not Indian enough, in Serbia they think I'm not Serbian enough. What others think is no longer important. You know, if you really connect with yourself deeply and you start radiating that, then suddenly you become the new fashion. You know, and we have to be comfortable in the clothes we wear. We don't need to pretend anything. On the contrary, we need to become natural. So in a way, yoga one of the deeper meanings of yoga is being natural, you know, not being the victim of this continuous oscillation of the mind. So I love the ancient science of yoga, and I wonder how much it's really understood in the West, because now it's mainly about the yoga postures and being very flexible and fit and slim. But the actual beauty of yoga is seen in the way we actually love and accept ourselves, so that we can love and accept others, and the calmness that we reach in the midst of all noises and stress and the speed, when you start witnessing, accepting, flowing, and kind of being at ease with all of that. So it takes time to reach to that point. But it's definitely most beautiful thing is accepting yourself, starting radiating your truth, and consciously choosing to live the higher version of you. You know, I also sometimes get into a situation where there's something that upsets me, you know, so my training is in the I catch that moment and I'm witnessing that, and then I don't react, I respond. So that and we have to go through life applying the knowledge. So this is the thing.
And there's a difference that I see in the people. They're like a talking spiritual talk or religious talk, and people, they live that way.
Yeah.
So one of the first person that I felt so much love was the Patriarch Pavel. At that time he was just a bishop. He was we were driving in the same bus, and I just felt so much love towards him. And it was a communist time, and I didn't know why I loved this man. So first time when I met Mohanji, even though I didn't understand anything, I was just loving him so much. I felt the same emotion. And then I understood why I loved Patriarch Pavel. So I understood whoever is on that high spiritual level, whoever is like really truth and living and talking, they're living what they're talking, we feel that vibration, we feel that love. So the conclusion of today's talk is definitely what you want to have in your life, give to the world, and you're gonna get it in your life too.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Anna.